Welcome to ITU Telecom World 2016 in Bangkok, Thailand. I'm very pleased to be joined in the studio today by Professor Umar Garba Dambata, who is Executive Vice Chairman and CEO of the Nigerian Communications Commission. Professor Dambata, thank you very much indeed for being with us today.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Now, I'd like to start off by talking about smart communities. I know it's a key message here, and perhaps we could talk a little bit about the importance of it, particularly in Nigeria.
To understand why this project on smart communities is important, we need to look at the way legacy systems, processes, and services are being run. We all agree that these are not being run very efficiently, and therefore an alternative is needed that can be able to contain the destruction, the unintended destructive effect that this alternative will bring to legacy systems, processes, and so on and so forth, as well as ensure that, there's improvement in effectiveness, in efficiency, in productivity of what the legacy systems, are doing. And there lies the argument for leveraging information and communications technology and bringing it to bear, in the way and manner we are doing things using legacy processes and systems. The whole purpose is to ensure efficiency, effectiveness, at the same time being able to contain the unintended effect of destruction of these processes. Such is the power of argument in favor of leveraging ICTs, to run processes, services, as well as, other related issues, governance, in fact, to a large extent, that people are saying it is possible to do this, to transform the way we do things, using, legacy processes and systems, as well as be able to contain the unintended destructive effect that smart systems bring with them. So the argument will be in favor of full-scale adoption of smart processes, or a gradual way of doing it. I think in Nigeria we have started experiencing this. We would like to do it, not by going the whole hog. We're trying to go for pilot projects during which we can be able to test the efficacy, of smart processes, and then from there the argument, for adopting, the smart, systems in their entirety, would have been made, from what successes, are recorded, through the adoption in a piecemeal approach of smart, processes, in our, smart systems, smart processes, and so on and so forth.
What single factor do you think is most important in stimulating ICT adoption?
Well, I think, first of all, we need to, again, it's a related question to the first. What are we trying to do? We all know what ICTs can do. The argument has been made, okay, that they can improve tremendously efficiency, effectiveness, and ensure productivity more than the way we are doing things without leveraging the power of ICTs. So the whole essence of adoption of ICT hinge on the need to improve efficiency, efficacy, as well as productivity in things that we are doing on a day-to-day basis. We want to be able to do those things better, effectively, and efficiently.
And what role do you think regulation can play in driving digital financial services?
Well, we need to look at the ecosystem in Nigeria. I'm not saying it is the same in every country. The ecosystem that drives financial inclusion now is one consisting of principally two elements: the banking sector, okay, and the financial regulator, incidentally, which is not, the Nigerian Communications Commission. And the results are there for all to see, that the mobile money service penetration is too low. It's only 1%, which compares unfavorably with 60% for Kenya. Then you need to ask, then how effective is this bank-driven money mobile service? Obviously, if that is the kind of penetration, we have in Nigeria, and then all of a sudden, the opportunities that we have or offered by telecommunications companies in Nigeria, together with the fantastic, statistics that are there for all to see, becomes very, very relevant. If such services could possibly be extended to drive the money mobile service, in Nigeria. Now, but then we are being very careful. Do we have capacity to bring this additional burden to the telecommunications sector? And I'm talking about capacity in terms of infrastructure. So what did we do? We understand the importance of mobile money service to rural communities, underserved communities, as well as communities that are even unserved with telecommunication services. We would like to see communities participate in this very, very important, inclusive initiative, empowerment of, rural communities, irrespective of where the communities are and what their circumstances are. So all of a sudden then, the need to collaborate, okay, to widen the ecosystem, to include maybe the telecommunication companies, the financial regulator, as well as the users, becomes imperative. And then that is the stage that Nigeria is now. The telecommunications companies in Nigeria are willing to serve as super agents to drive the mobile money services in Nigeria. The regulator is saying, I need to be convinced that you have capacity, okay, so that the complaints we are getting about poor quality of service are not aggravated by bringing additional burden to bear on the telecommunications infrastructure. Once we can address and sort out this, little problems, then I would like to see a situation where the telecommunications companies, with their, with their good records of providing, telecommunication services, bring that same experience to bear to the money mobile service, industry, and perhaps we'll see the statistics, changing for the better.
Finally, we've been very impressed by Nigeria's pavilion here. There's a lot of interest in that, but obviously a lot of interest in being here in general. I wanted to find out from you, what's the value of attending events such as ITU Telecom World?
Well, this is a very, very collaborative event. There is a facilitation of collaboration where we can be able to learn from global best practices, and those global best practices are what we bring to bear in, the regulations, we make in Nigeria, courtesy of, frameworks, as you are aware, cutting across, the major areas of regulation, competition, spectrum administration, licensing and authorization, and so on and so forth. Also, this event offers an opportunity for Nigeria to make, its case to the international telecommunications audience, so that through this engagement, we can be able to woo the investors that we need to continue to make the telecom sector more vibrant, more resilient, as well as provide better, efficient, and qualitative services.
Professor Nnamdi, thank you very much indeed.
Very much, I appreciate this engagement.
Well, I won't put that simply as that. There's an element of that. There's an element of, there's an internal element which you have mentioned, inadequate education in the north, or in fact, inadequate education generally in the country, inadequate employment opportunities in the country. All that are part of what is the, if you like, remote cause of Boko Haram, as far as I'm concerned. But then there are also external elements. Now, the fallout from Libya, and which, of course, as a result of what happened in Libya, those that have been trained in Libya in the time of Gaddafi, from other countries who are neighbors of Libya, when Gaddafi fell, they moved out. They moved out with their training, their weapons, and they started to wreak havoc on the communities in which they have moved out to. And that is the situation in northern Mali.
Chief Obasanjo, if I get you correctly, what you're saying is the overthrow of Gaddafi is, the result has been what we saw recently with the killing of the U.S. ambassador, with the instability in northern Mali, with Boko Haram. Is that the connection you're drawing?
There is connection. And we know that there will be a price to pay in the way that it all went in Libya. That at the end of the day, all of us in Africa and all those who masterminded the way it happened will have to pay a price. And we are now paying the price.
So as you were watching the euphoria surrounding the Arab Spring unfold, you were one of those individuals who felt, hang on for a minute, this is not going to play out the way some people may expect.
Now, it was too early to shout Uhuru with the Arab Spring. And some of us said that look, what will be the final outcome of this? Let us wait and see. When you have violence and violent overthrow of regimes, you do not know exactly what the final outcome will be.